Tonight on Elon Local News.
The shooting in Pittsburgh, a community coming together to heal.
Costumes sparking conversation. How some students' Halloween costume choices are outraging others.
And a spooky haunting. We found one group discovering ghosts right here under the oaks.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications. You're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Monday, October 29th. I'm Samantha Casamento.
And I'm Grace Morris. One student is dead after a shooting at a high school just outside of Charlotte. Early this morning, a male student opened fire at Butler High School in Matthews, North Carolina after a physical fight was caught on surveillance video. The victim has yet to be identified. According to the most recent registrar's report, there are 207 Elon students from the county where the shooting occurred, and 4 students enrolled at Elon who attended the high school.
And Elon students are still grieving after a deadly shooting in a Pittsburgh synagogue over the weekend. Our Maya Eaglin spoke with some members of the Elon's Jewish community who came together with an important message.
Prayer.
I will fear no evil.
And community.
I would have never thought it would have been the synagogue I grew up in, had my bar mitzvah in. My brother had his bar mitzvah in it.
11 people were killed in the Tree of Life shooting on Saturday, marking it the deadliest anti-Semitic shooting in recent U.S. history. It's a community that freshman Alex Farber says made him who he is today. 2
people I knew that were killed in the shooting, they were special needs, and their whole life was the synagogue. Ever since they were little, they'd be going to the synagogue, but they were always caring. They were always there greeting people when you walked in. They were there every single Saturday morning.
Sophomore Noah LeKind and several other students were shocked that the university did not send out a statement the same day of the event.
We don't really have a lot of time to wait for other people to intervene. We have to act on our own.
Rabbi Mendy Minkowitz says the violence was a threat to all Jews.
It's also trying to send a message that we shouldn't even feel safe in our own domain, in our own houses of worship, and we shouldn't ever feel like we're free of anti-Semitism and of bias.
Minkowitz says the connection between dark and light in the Jewish faith is a constant reminder of hope.
Because most people are afraid to grab darkness and, get hurt in the process of that struggle. But you don't need to grab darkness, you just need to make light. And when you make light, darkness automatically fades.
But senior Leah Kay says hope is not enough.
The silence right now is deafening. I think that it's really upsetting to see that the people who have so much to say about so many gun reform issues are saying nothing about this.
Wishing more people could support the Jewish community.
I mean, it's kind of ironic because Elon means oak in Hebrew.
Align with the Jewish community, align with the Pittsburgh community, align with any community that's affected by a shooting, and speak out against the lack of conversation that there is.
Maya Eaglin, Elon Local News.
The university and Jewish community organized an event in the Newman Lumen space Sunday night, but would not allow the event to be filmed. There will be an interfaith rally against hate and violence tomorrow at Temple Emmanuel in Greensboro at 10 p.m. We'll have a reporter there, so keep up with our coverage on elonnewsnetwork.com.
The town of Elon Police Department is looking for a new police chief. Current Chief Cliff Parker will replace Alamance County's Chief Deputy Tim Britt, who is retiring. Town Manager Richard White says Parker developed a good relationship with Elon University, something that is important in their search.
Something we'll look for in a candidate, either someone who's come from that background or certainly someone who understands the dynamics of University Town and what that means. And our process will hopefully help us better understand the candidate's perspective around University Town-Gown relationships.
Parker's last day with the town is this Thursday, November 1st.
And Hook, Brannock, and Barney residence halls have been around for more than 50 years. But freshman Jack Susser is trying to make a change. Just a few days into the semester, the Barney resident noticed that his building does not have any water fountains. While students can use the bathroom sinks, Susser says they are too small and usually dirty. Most residents just buy disposable water bottles instead. Now he's hoping to reduce his peers' plastic use by campaigning to have water fountains installed.
It's kind of stressful every day to watch kids just crush plastic water bottles, not aware of the impact it makes.
Susser is working on sending out a survey to all first-year students about their plastic water bottle usage and hopes to publish an article to share with administration.
A local animal shelter is desperately looking for people to foster and adopt. More than 80 dogs and 300 cats are currently at the shelter. Our Amanda Gibson talked to one of the students who's helped foster an animal in need.
Sophomore Kara Redkay helped foster her dog Elvis before Hurricane Florence, but 3 days and a special bond formed.
Every single day he would get a little bit more comfortable. The first night he wouldn't sleep in my bed. He was just kind of on the floor. And second night he would jump on furniture and kind of a little bit more open. And then by the third day, that's when he was following me around, had built the connection.
Elvis was one of the 80 dogs looking for a home.
You can't just he was so attached. It was so sad that we would possibly have to give him back.
Laura Michael, the shelter's program coordinator, was thankful for ELON student volunteers during this storm.
And actually many ELON students helped us out a tremendous amount. I'm not sure how they found out, but they came in and a lot of them pulled animals to foster.
Redkay says she got an email about possibly fostering cats, but she was glad she ended up with her dog Elvis. She says fostering benefited both Elvis and her housemates.
If I had to have given him back, having that sort of interaction with an animal, even for if it was just 3 days, kind of was a stress relief. And obviously the animals benefit so much from it, and it's a mutual just a mutual benefit.
Michael says that foster homes and volunteers are essential to keeping the animals comfortable and helping the shelter stay open.
We make every effort to never put down a reasonably healthy, friendly, nice pet because we don't have space.
Michael says even playing with the animals help them stay hopeful.
So we do make every effort to give everybody a good positive outcome and to treat them, really well and make them feel loved, because it is a stressful environment for them.
Redkay hopes that more dogs like Elvis find homes. Amanda Gibson, ELON Local News.
If you want to adopt an animal, you can go to 221 Stone Quarry Road in Burlington, North Carolina. The adoption fee for Burlington Animal Shelter is only $10 until Wednesday, and for some animals, the fee is completely waived. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some Halloween costumes that are causing debate on campus.
You're watching ELON Local News.
As Halloween approaches and you start making plans, our Carly Thomas is live in studio to go over some tips to stay safe.
Lieutenant Hannah Giroux to keep you safe. First, students should remember to obey all laws and university policies. If you decide to go out with friends. Be extra cautious when crossing streets and walking on the shoulder of the road where there are no sidewalks. And remember to utilize campus resources such as Campus Safe or Safe Rides or E-Rides. Lieutenant Giroux said in a statement, quote, "Although the town of Elon and Elon University enjoy a low crime rate, students should always be aware of their surroundings both during the day and at night. Walk with a friend when possible. Try to limit the amount of distractions present," end quote. Campus Safety and Police also offer an app for your phone called LiveSafe. It allows for students and employees to communicate directly with campus police through text, video, and photos. Have a happy Halloween and stay safe. Now back to you.
Photos received by ENN are sparking debate across campus, and this photo shows a white student dressing up as Nicki Minaj, an African-American rapper, and the person next to her is dressed as a ninja. And another photo shows a person draped in a Corona flag wearing a sombrero. And the Center for Race, Ethnicity, and Diversity Education is running a campaign called Culture Not Costume to educate the Elon community about cultural sensitivity. And we wanted to hear from the Elon community about their thoughts on the costumes.
And joining us now in the studio is sophomore Imani Henderson. She is a member of the Black Student Union on campus. Thank you for joining us, Imani.
Thanks for having me.
So our first question for you is, what makes a costume culturally insensitive?
Well, adopting minority culture for the dominant culture is inappropriate. So any costume that is adopting any culture that is of minority history, people should not be doing. So.
And what are some costumes that maybe don't push the line?
Some costumes that don't push the line? I don't really think that's like an appropriate question. The better question would be, you should be asking yourself, why are you being this costume? And would anybody be offended by this costume? So I wouldn't have the best answer for like what costumes don't push the line, because a great majority of them do.
So what are some examples you've seen on campus, and how do they make you feel?
Well, the two examples that you guys mentioned earlier are great examples of inappropriate costumes. And I know there was an incident last year where someone had cornrows and was dressed up in an inmate costume, and that was very inappropriate. So just costumes like that can make people feel extremely uncomfortable, and it could even trigger people. You don't know what people go through, so you never know what reaction you can get when you go out dressed in things that you don't. These are people's lives every day. People of minority descent live in these lives every day. So to adopt their culture for a day, and it's not really celebrating it, it's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. And so what are some ways that you think we can sort of help this issue? How can students sort of engage in conversation around this issue? I feel like there should be more dialogue about it. If there is a question, ask. I mean, don't just assume yourself and just be like, oh, I'm just going to try it out and see how it goes. Definitely ask. Don't be afraid to ask. The Creed is definitely a great place it's a great resource to go and ask, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. Is this appropriate or is it not appropriate? And there will be resources to help with that. Well, thank you so much, Imani, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, thank you.
We talked to some ELON students about their thoughts on the topic.
Just like wrong to dress up like that. Like, it's making fun of someone's culture. I think it depends on the extent of how offensive it were.
I guess it's close to Halloween. Looks like Halloween costumes. People dress up. I don't know. It didn't jump out at me as being insensitive particularly.
If I saw it and I was like, wow, that is very apparently offensive, then I would say something.
If they think it's okay to wear, then that's fine. They just have to know that it might offend other people if they go out in public looking like that.
If it seemed like kind of on the line, I would probably just move on and say college kids being college kids. If it seemed like egregiously offensive to a lot of people, then I would say something.
I think like unless that was your religion, then that would be fine.
I probably wouldn't say anything because it's not my business of what people are wearing. If they want to wear that, then that's fine. Just as long as it isn't affecting me or any of my friends I'm with.
I can see how it's offensive. I can't relate because I've never been personally insulted by that.
And after the break, we take a look at a yoga with a furry twist.
Will the weather accommodate all of our homecoming festivities this weekend? Find out after the break.
You're watching Elon Local News.
This week is homecoming week, where students, alumni, and community members will come together to celebrate. On Thursday, the Harlem Globetrotters will be performing in the Schar Center at 7 p.m. The window for students to request free tickets is over, but you can buy tickets at elonphoenix.com/globetrotters.
And Rock the Block is on Friday on East Haggard Avenue in front of Alamance. There will be performers, food, and games from 3 to 10 p.m.
And on Saturday is the homecoming football game against the University of Rhode Island. At 7:30 p.m. that night is the homecoming concert at Schar Center featuring Jesse McCartney, Sean Kingston, and Quinn 92. For the full list of the events and our homecoming coverage, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com. Well, Sam, I am hoping that we have some good weather.
Yes, I am hoping for some good weather this week. I know I heard it was rainy this weekend. I wasn't here, but that's what I heard.
It was very rainy. It was rainy. It was cold, and it was just not a fun time to be outside.
Well, let's find out about this week. Our Maeve Ashbrook is live under the Oaks with your weather. Maeve, what's it looking like this week?
Thank you so much, Sam and Grace, and I'm shivering out here a little bit under the Oaks. It's been a pretty chilly start to the week here at Elon, and weather is of the utmost importance this week with all the homecoming festivities that will be going on. Tomorrow we should be seeing weather a lot like today, with a high of 66 and a low of 46. Tomorrow clouds will come in a little bit, but with a little bit of a higher high of 73 and a low of 57. If you're planning on walking to the Harlem Globetrotters on Thursday or participating in Rock on the Block or the Banner Parade on Friday, you might want to plan ahead and think about bringing your raincoats. There's a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms Thursday night and a 50% chance of rain Friday morning. On Saturday, we're looking to have a beautiful day with mostly sunny skies for a football game and homecoming concert. There will be a high of 62 and a low of 42. So even if it's a little bit chilly this weekend, it should be a wonderful day to celebrate our school here on Saturday. Thank you so much. That's all I have for you today. Back to you, Sam and Grace.
President Connie Book is serving up a new kind of challenge for students. Book is offering an open invitation once a month for students to join her in the Mosley Center for a few games of table tennis. She came up with the idea as a way to have fun while also connecting with students. Book says she enjoys how the nature of ping pong allows conversation to flow freely during the play.
Their experiences, and what's happening during the week. It gives me a sense of their interaction on campus and their academics and what's challenging, and then a lot of them are in student organizations, so I can get an update on what's happening.
Defeated in his match with President Book, sophomore Eric Polite is ready for a rematch.
I got spanked pretty bad. She's got a mean backhand that I didn't anticipate, but no, it was a lot of fun. I think I'll probably come back next Friday and see if I can show out a little more for myself.
President Book will have more tournaments throughout the year. The next opportunity to challenge her is Friday, November 30th. And if you're looking for a new sport to try, I took a look at one farm that is merging yoga with goats. Take a look. At first look, goats and yoga might seem like an unlikely mix. And here at Carriage House, they have events where goats like these are bending over backwards. Goat yoga. Just a short drive from Elon is Carriage House Farms, and in between hosting weddings, the Carriage House partners with yoga instructors for their goat yoga events. For their past few goat yoga events, farm owner Brenda Leeper and yoga instructor Lindsay Alexander have been working together. Some of their yoga events have had 500 people on the waiting list.
We have people come to the Carriage House from Fayetteville, from the other side of Raleigh, all over the place. I've had people come down from Virginia before. But for Leeper, the event just gives her another excuse to play with her goats.
For me, it's fun to have people, get to meet my goats, and the goats like to meet the people.
And Leeper believes that goat yoga is actually harder than just plain yoga.
It's a little bit harder to do goat yoga in a pasture where it's not a level ground. And, it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone.
But not everybody likes the idea.
And you have people in the yoga community who are not fond of goat yoga or other expressions of yoga at all, who think it's a distraction and a novelty.
And according to Alexander, goat yoga does provide some unique challenges.
They poop and pee on your mat, full on, like it happens every single class.
But at the end of the day, both Alexander and Leeper agree that it's worth it.
It's like the best you can hope for any community activity is just to bring people together, to kind of break down barriers, to make a space feel accessible, and to offer people something that helps them feel joyful and more at peace.
Give goat yoga a try. Carriage House will have their next goat yoga event on November 11th. Do you think you're going to be up for trying goat yoga?
Of course. I am a huge yoga fanatic. I really love it. But now we have our Jack Haley live in the newsroom with more on what's coming up in this week's edition of The Pendulum. Jack, what can we expect?
I'm Jack Haley, live in the newsroom, and here's what's coming up this week in ELON'S Pendulum. Elon Volunteers is celebrating their 30th anniversary, and on our front page you can read how they are impacting Elon's community and their broader North Carolina community. Also in our lifestyle section, you can meet the homecoming court nominees, and of course, who doesn't love sports? With the basketball season just over a week away from tip-off, you can read season previews for both our men's and women's teams. Samantha and Grace, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. And we are just 1 week away from Election Day. And Elon News Network will be going live on Tuesday, November 6th. We will have reporters covering both North Carolina House and Senate races, as well as the congressional elections. And our live coverage begins at 8 p.m. You can watch us on Facebook and our YouTube channel.
And coming up, the spirits that may still be haunting Elon.
You're watching Elon Local News.
And Halloween is just 2 days away. Our Megan Lynn is in the studio with a spooky story.
That's right, Grace. Fall at Elon means one thing: falling acorns, football games, and ghost stories. I investigated some of the real stories behind the legends and went on the hunt for ghosts. Walter Boyd's family history is Elon history.
I just knew every president of everything that had happened at the college since its founding.
Boyd himself is a 1976 graduate and now serves as a local historian. He knows all the legends, including that of Ghost Mary, who's thought to have died jumping from west during the 1923 fire.
There is something there. The fallacy is that the ghost has nothing to do with the 1923 fire.
According to Boyd, Williamson Avenue wasn't always where it is now. The road went under the oaks, straight through West Hall's location. This is a spot where Boyd says a man drowned in a pond, a house burned down with a family inside, and an Elon student died. With these spooky stories surrounding Elon, I set out to see if campus is really haunted with another Elon alumnus and his positively paranormal team.
We run some crazy stuff, and you hear stuff get thrown, you see shadow figures.
Lee Steele graduated from Elon in 1978 and now volunteers as an investigator for Positively Paranormal. He and his partner Matt Scheller both became interested in the supernatural after encountering ghosts when they were kids. They use a variety of tools to capture videos of spirits and even communicate with them.
Any ghosts or spirits in the room right now that would like to tell us hello?
We set up in West, and by using a device called an Obvious 3, it seems we made contact with something. It says hi.
I've never seen it say that before.
Oh my god, my heart. It says demon. But the work the team does goes beyond just finding ghosts.
Jesus gives us the authority and the power to cast out demons.
As a Christian group, they also do house blessings. While using holy water, white sage, and prayer to protect themselves, they also look out for each other.
Yeah, we consider ourselves brothers.
Yeah, we're like family and brothers, all of us. And like I said, we
It was definitely a scary experience for me. Based on those little bit of communications you heard, they think we did find something, but they want to really run a full investigation, set up cameras overnight, and see what they can find.
Yeah, I actually met Lee Steele last year, and he said the same thing, but we'll have to see.
Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're off the air, check out our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And make sure to follow us on social media at Elon News Network and grab a copy of The Pendulum this Wednesday.
Have a great night, Elon.
That goes.